What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Tenet video. So we finally got a new trailer for the movie which has a fair bit of new footage and a lot more dialogue, giving us some clues about what the heck is happening in this movie. One thing is certain is how there is no explicit time travel in the movie, as Robert Pattinson said in his landmark GQ interview that there is no time travel. Yes, they mentioned time a lot in the trailer, but it looks like it's actually being displaced, and John David Washington's character is introduced to whatever agency is joined, and he's simply catching the bullets as opposed to shooting them, which is pretty wacky. We see him wearing gloves that have a bracelet type thing, and shows that this might be an earlier device used to control time inverse objects, and touching them seems to be unsafe, which is interesting because we frequently see them wear oxygen masks when it looks like time is also reversing. This looks similar to a game called Quantum Break, where an experiment went wrong and time travel was possible and also time was broken. So it's interesting to see the parallels there between those two. He can also use telekinesis to pick the items up. He's seemingly using a process called inversion, which he explains to Robert Pattinson's character. And while, as I said, there is no time travel, it looks like time or objects can be manipulated in a different way. They are not jumping in the DeLorean or using a pin particle, but time here is definitely being manipulated in some way, shape or fashion. The key here is the new plot revealed by this trailer, which is a Russian man played by presumably Kenneth Branagh here. He is the key and can manipulate time. He speaks to John David Washington's character. They have a sort of parallel discussion there about time and how things are changing and how they are actually still here. Presumably one of them gets shot or both of them get exploded or something like that, and it causes them to have time reversed, and they have that conversation. Elizabeth Debicki is also involved with him by the looks of the trailer, so I would expect the crew to try to get to him through her, as we see her on a boat, and we also see her at a school with Washington's character almost catching her. This could also be a simple red herring, as one actor in the movie has yet to be seen in any marketing is Aaron Taylor Johnson, who could possibly be the secret villain of the piece, as we know Nolan likes his twists. The trailer obviously doesn't say what he can do, but we all know that time is being manipulated, it's being reversed at times, and this is what is happening when Washington steps out and is wearing a mask like he's going to do shopping in Costco in 2020. Also, that kid at the school, that would be very interesting if it is actually Aaron Taylor Johnson, the villain of the movie, and is young, and in the future things are being attacked or changed by him. He is the huge villain in the future. Possibly this is why Elizabeth Debicki says that people in the future actually need us. If we are to believe that this Russian is able to do special things, then I don't think he will have special powers, but simply a machine. As it is mentioned, he can mess with time. We see a special machine in the Red Room with our characters attacking them here. This is curious because we've seen images with John David Washington and also Robert Pattinson in this room and the red around them, which is really curious. I expect this will be a big plot point later in the movie. Now, the special art book actually states that this is a quantum Cold War, which means that quantum is possibly part of how the plot will play out. It's possible we will be getting time moving in different ways, possibly again due to quantum. I mentioned this in a previous video on this, and it's pretty much confirming it here, possibly in this trailer. Washington's character says that time is flowing backwards, so it'd be interesting if they are not only fighting in present day, but Kenneth Branagh's Russia is making time literally go in reverse right through back to the Big Bang. Funny enough, the day before this trailer dropped, scientists found a parallel universe where time moves backwards, and quantum Cold War could mean a quantum computing arms race. In quantum computing, it can actually theoretically find different dimensions, and the bits like that are used in quantum computing. So yes, I'm not a scientist on quantum computing, so it is a simplistic explanation there. Now, they say it isn't a war to stop World War III, which is incredibly vague, as we know the Russian person can manipulate time, so I'd expect some amazing visual pieces, just like the plane going through time, because that isn't all we're going to get, I think. Presumably this machine allows Kenneth Branagh's Russian to mess with time on a big scale, and it's inversion, as they call it here in this trailer, which is going to be a big facet moving forward, and he probably uses this to cause chaos or start wars. Tenet can also, I think here, be an educated guess that it is the name of the machine, or at least the process of inverting time here, as Tenet is a palindrome, and that means that time moves backwards and forwards in this movie, just like a palindrome can be read forwards and backwards. Other dimensions may also be key to this, as they use particles that experience time different, slowly, fast, all that kind of thing, and it could be very curious to see how this works with different dimensions. For example, seeing where a bullet can go, they can actually move out the way and change events that way. We also see a lot of Robert Pattinson, which he himself said his take on the role was influenced heavily by the writer Christopher Hitchens, and you can definitely see that here with him. As the two characters are sitting opposite each other, they actually say that time travel isn't actually happening, and he tells Robert Pattinson's character to keep up, which says that there are certainly bigger things to play here. The shots of the concert hall are from the IMAX prologue, where we see a music hall with audiences put to sleep, with Pattinson and Washington blending in with a SWAT team and a time travel device used to shoot a member of that team. So we know that there are portable devices used to manipulate time, and we saw this with the gloves as well. And in this prologue, they actually created a force field around the object and around the area, which means quantum particle theory may ring true, but again, it is just a theory. So the time inversion devices are presumably powered by this, which is a nice, neat take on current science. But there was also another theory which I also really like. This could involve time entropy and actually reversing it. This means if you know exactly the way atoms spin, move, etc., then you can predict where they will actually go next based on what they've done so far. But if you can predict the thermodynamic quantity of what an atom cannot do, you will see what it can do and what it can't. So where it can't go, where it can go. So that means that they can exactly predict where things will go. So that's a big mind-melding theory here, and we actually see proof of this in the trailer when the female character, who actually funnily enough played Fleur in the Harry Potter movies, which I really like, and she actually has a wallboard there where it is saying and showing all these equations, and it is actually a time entropy equation, and we see cool different things. This is probably why they are shooting the rock, as they can work out just where the bullets will go and bring them back to the gun. So I said the diagram is showing where they can go and where they can't go, but I'm not a scientist, so yes, take that with what you will. Throughout the trailer, they mentioned things haven't happened and the nature of time. If they are messing with atoms and moving things backwards, then they are not technically traveling through time, but manipulating objects to where they have been. So they can reverse a nuclear explosion, and such, of course, has ramifications for the future, and all this has begun. Basically, I believe the plot is a group that has Washington have a localized time manipulation device, and they're trying to stop a Russian who has a bigger device of itself. I do like the idea that time is moving in different ways, and I expect the big twist to be involved with time. Maybe we will see the Aaron Taylor Johnson in the future, and he is working backwards to actually stop things, or his followers are working backwards, or possibly we might see a twist and we will see Robert Pattinson be the villain of the piece all this time. But let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think of the movie. Are you excited? Will you be going to see it? It's still sticking to its date of 17th of July 2020, so it will be curious to see if they hold fast on this, because slowly things are opening up. Movie theatres are cramped, and well, this movie needs to make a lot of money to break even. So if they're only selling half of the cinema seats due to social distancing, then it will be interesting to see how much it will actually make. But let me know what you think in the comments. Please do drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and please do subscribe down below if you want more. And I'll see you soon, and goodbye.